Hello friends! I thought I might do a super quick garden tour. It is a really hot day here in Maine, close to 90, very sunny. Happy I've got the shade cloth up, and you can see some of the plants are a little droopy, but they're fine. It's just because it's like 2:30 in the afternoon and it is July 9th. So I was just going to do a quick walkthrough. This is the barrel that when we moved in was full of trash, and we have turned it into a herb planter. All of the squash, of course, are doing well. Next year I will try to grow these vertically because they do kind of grow right off into the other plants. And this particular yellow straight neck variety called Cube of Butter is so prolific, we literally can't eat all the squash. If I was eating 2 a day, it would still outpace us, I think. So it's been a little difficult, but these are doing well too. The patty pans. I don't know if anyone's fond of patty pans. They are personally my favorite squash because they're a lot less seedy and they're very sweet. They're a really meaty squash. So it's going to show how these cattle panel trellises are working just fantastically, as you can see. And then we were able to put the shade cloth over, which keeps a good portion of the garden shaded, and it works fantastically. The plants are outgrowing. Well, yeah, they're going up into the shade cloth in a lot of places. All of the tomatoes. We have, look at that cat-faced tomato. The thing's massive. But I've got some really big fruit in here. So the biggest I've ever grown, 100% in some of these areas. I bet. Well, we'll have to wait and see. This is the Cherokee Purple. So everything's just doing fantastic in these shade tunnels. It really does seem to give the plants a break. As you can see, I am following directions. Despite being told my entire life to trim these bottom leaves off when they're in the dirt, am not doing that. And as you can see, look, leaves in the dirt. Those leaves have been in the dirt for a month and a half. They look fine. Anyway, I am not pruning the bottom leaves as I've been told to do, following directions now, seeing how it goes. I do prune off some suckers because as it is, this Florida weave is barely holding these plants. If I let them grow more branches, I'm pretty sure it would just all fall over. I won't use a Florida weave in here next time. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do it, maybe one per stake or something. But yeah, you can see these plants are yeah, they're outgrowing everything. They're growing into the shade cloth, which I need to pull up. The shade cloth actually broke that one. They're going outside of the shade cloth in some cases. So really tall. So this is the cucumber, mostly cucumber. I do have a tomato here on the end, but mostly cucumbers. I have so many pickling cucumbers. Again, every day I've got to come out here and pick them. I gather them for 2 or 3 days in the refrigerator, and then I pickle 2 or 3 pints. We're eating them almost as fast as I'm pickling them because our family really fond of this, especially in the summer when it's so hot. So I do have my first ripe full-size cucumber again by July. Oh man, I wish I was better at this. There we go. That is an Annong Jabai, some kind of Middle Eastern cucumber. So I'm excited to go back and harvest that. I'm going to do that. I got to do it today, so probably when I'm done with this video. Anyway, I do really love these cattle panels and the shading. But I don't know about how do you not keep the cucumbers? Oh, sorry, I got distracted because Japanese beetles, and I do need to come out here and do that. So I do feel like you need to cut the cucumbers back because the second you don't, there's 8 million little shoots coming off, and they just overgrow every other plant, including their neighbors, just massively. So anyway, you can see my eggplants are also still doing fine despite despite the Japanese beetles damaging some of the leaves. I do try and come out here and pick them off every day, but they're still doing some damage before I find them. They will eat anything, but they seem really attracted to these eggplants. My little little habanadas, not hot habaneros, are flowering. So I still have hope for that. Yeah, look, I've got some full-size eggplant I need to harvest. This isn't full-size yet, but doing good. So potatoes are starting to die back. They've all, the ones that did flowered, and so hopefully I'll be harvesting those in a while. I'm probably going to replant that for carrots for the fall. The strawberry and herb bed, I have strawberries just loaded with strawberries and a couple Japanese beetles, which again, gotta come out and kill them. Some of my random plants, I just had an extra bag, put a tomato in there. Bee balm, nasturtiums, which you've seen all through the garden. I was trying to really fill out most of the beds, with the only exception being the strawberry bed, because it's going to be a perennial, and the asparagus bed for the same reason. So all that's in those, the strawberry just has some herbs with it. The asparagus is by itself. But I tried to pack these other beds, and I had decided to take the bug netting off of here because the peppers are outgrowing it, all the plants are outgrowing it. So I'm just gonna have to come out and do it by hand, I think. I protected them while they were small. They can handle a little pest damage now, but you can see how packed this is. I've already cut out all the lettuce, but there's some spinach still in there. The onions in there are looking pretty huge. Not near harvesting yet. Not near ready for that, but they're getting big. And this ground cherry is growing into the massive thing that it always does, but bigger than I've ever seen it, because I've only ever grown it in a pot. And you can see all these husk fruits. I don't know if it's the same for tomatillos, but ground cherries, you have to wait until they turn yellow and fall to the ground on their own before you know they're ripe and safe to eat. So none are ripe yet, but it's covered in fruit. So anyway, as you can see, yeah, it's just doing really well. I have to barely tend it at this point, except to come out, and occasionally I do have to prune, not from the bottom, but sometimes the outgrowth is so insane I do have to prune it back. I wish I didn't, but it's already kind of crazy and hard to keep track of. Even my chamomile, which you can see is only in a, and it's starting to look kind of tired out, but this is a 1 foot by 2 foot patch of chamomile. I already have a whole pint jar of dried chamomile, and I have to come out about every other day and harvest the ripe heads. And then a couple more days later, I just get more. So it's just a constant process of drying these things. So that's it, everybody. A little bit of a mess. Still got all my tools just laying out in buckets and whatnot. There you go. That is I can't even count how much work I put in to get this thing up and running, but it is 100% worth it. Everything we did has been worth it. The cattle panels have been worth it. The arches, the hoops have been worth it with the bug netting. Everything has really, really worked and done its job. And today, I'm really happy. I have my first sun gold tomato. All right, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.